Who the Wild Things Are with Ryan McGuire.
You gotta listen to your body.
Oh my God, maybe, I could get out there, I could do this.
Let's take a ride, find your wild side, real stories, see with your own eyes.
It's so beautiful.
I'm gonna have the best time out here.
Yeah, I was in tears. I was like, that's the best, man.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode 21 of Who the Wild Things Are, the live podcast that brings you guys interesting folks from all around the globe, today all the way from Hawaii. If you could take a second and just, when you visit us on all platforms, just take 1 minute, give us a rating and a review. That helps little podcasts like this stay alive. I appreciate you guys and that effort very much. Today, we're excited. We've got an excellent guest, like I said, calling all the way from Hawaii. You guys might know him as Island Ninja. His name is Grant Mccartney. Grant is very well known for his time on American Ninja Warrior. He's also a hybrid athlete. He's randomly super good at skateboarding and surfing, and he's just a really great human that does a ton of different stuff, all with a smile on his face, always spreading light. So super excited to have Grant on here. With that said, we're going to have him hop on. Grant,
What'd it do?
what's going on? Look at that hair.
Oh, this whole thing? Ooh. I watched it because I knew we were going to be on live.
Yeah, you got to get it all. You got to give it all that volume, man. That's some serious hair. It looks good.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna set up the most unique tripod setup here. Can you still hear me with it like this?
I can. It sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, because sometimes my phone's been cutting out and it's been weird. So.
Yeah. No, we'll make it work. Did you get a haircut since last time I saw you when we were working out? Yeah.
Yeah, Bubba's. I came back here to Hawaii and I had to do some stuff with Hawaiian Airlines. I'm a flight attendant for Hawaiian Airlines, and I had to shave my beard, and they were like, oh, I have to. My hair couldn't touch my collar, so I just was in the shower and was like, is that enough? Nope. Is that enough? And so yeah, here's what we landed on final. It's
right on there.
Shorter, but it has a tendency to grow pretty quick, so all good.
Sweet. Yeah, it looks good. So, Grant, for people maybe that are just hopping on, not familiar with your story necessarily, give us the quick and dirty, who is Island Ninja, who is Grant Mccartney, and kind of what do you do?
Yeah, man. I mean, I wore this shirt so people would know. Oh, my gosh. Oh, so buff. It's way too small, and I'm like, I should pick a different shirt. I am a 7-time American Ninja Warrior competitor. I competed 7 years ago was my first year, and then due to that show, I did a lot of other shows. I did the German Ninja Warrior show, ended up winning out there. Had some victories in American Ninja Warrior, and that spun off to a lot of other random TV shows, doing a couple different TV shows with Spartan, doing the Spartan Games on their YouTube series, and just kind of trailing it off in different avenues of fitness and whatever. Played rugby in college, played a lot of sports growing up, so I got a weird background, surfing, skating, all kinds of sports. Not great at everything, but now trying to use my sports world to, kind of mix in with others online and hopefully help people to get active and be more fit too. And done everything from ice baths up in Alaska to crazy surfing, skate adventures, and all kinds of stories. So hopefully we'll tell some of the fun ones today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you so much being on here. I've been following your story even before I met you. And I've always been impressed by kind of the way you do so many different things, and you do them at a high level, but always with a smile on your face. It's always fun and effortless and about joy for you. So I appreciate you hopping on here.
Yeah, man, I guess I was reminded about that yesterday even. I went out to the beach and I'm trying to process things and figure out some stuff in life. And so I was just kind of at the beach praying, and then I was coming home and I was like, oh, Lord, if you put someone in my life that I can help, let me know as I'm coming home. I'll see them, and I ran through the things that I do. As I'm a bigger guy, I can lift things, and I've always moved people. They need a refrigerator moved or a couch, or my dad was a big guy who's a linebacker in the NFL, and so we always move people. And I was like, I'm sure someone will need something heavy lifted, or someone will need something I can do, and I'll see them, and God's gonna put them in my path on the way home from the beach. And and I didn't see anybody. And then I realized when I told my buddy about it, like, I didn't see anyone. I was like, oh, but there was this one lady that stopped me, and I had my hat real low, like trying to kind of lay low. Here in Hawaii, like, it's a small crowd, and, you know, I'm the only competitor on Ninja Warrior from Hawaii. So it's like, this lady stopped me. Hey, I'm a big fan. Can we take a picture? Blah, blah. And I wasn't really in the mood at the time, but I was like, you know what? Okay. And I slowly opened up and started joking with her, and like, hope you have a wonderful trip. She was like, oh my gosh, you just made my day. I was like, made your day? You know, and I'm thinking, like, how can I'm just a person. And I just thought to myself, it's wild that I could just be myself, same person I've always been, but yet somehow make somebody's day because of something they saw or they were inspired by on TV. And I didn't do anything. I was just there. And then I realized, like, bringing joy to people is a part of something that I am able to do, even just by being, which is really cool because is, you know, and you can't always do it. I'm not always joyful, but I do have a lot of joy. So I appreciate you recognizing that too. And I'm starting to recognize that more myself, I guess.
Very cool. Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see how that would happen, especially in a spot like Hawaii. So before, you weren't always the island ninja, and people might, you know, have this conception that you've always been a Hawaii kid. You actually grew up in Tennessee, right? Tell us a little bit about kind of the early pre-island ninja days.
Yeah, the mainland ninja vibes. Yeah, I grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee, went to University of Tennessee, actually came to Hawaii as an exchange program in school, and I won an island-wide skateboard contest series, and then got a sponsor here, and they were like, hey, you should move back to Hawaii and skateboard for us. And I was like, yeah, I should. And so I immediately just moved back here and started living here, and then started working for Hawaiian Airlines, and then the whole Ninja Warrior thing kind of came about after a little bit more trauma in my life, and realized that I kind of want to do some things I always said I was going to do, and Ninja Warrior is one of those. And so that's kind of how I got there. But just playing sports, and, you know, there's some Tennessee deep roots in me as well, and that's why I didn't go with something like the Hawaiian Ninja. It's like, I'm not Hawaiian in blood, but, you know, I do live a pretty island life.
Yeah, and the hair helps, right? It definitely feeds into that vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot. I'm posting some stuff in the next couple of days. Is I have my first fitness app coming out May 2nd, and we put a lot of work into it and all this different stuff. And I was doing some final photos, and I just went on some of my favorite hikes, and I immediately just started climbing up all the vines and hanging off these trees, and we got some amazing shots. And I was like, oh yeah, part of me is like internally just embodies the Tarzan life. Like, I just don't think about it. I just climb and hang, and I'm in the jungle, and I'm like, it feels like my place. So yeah, I guess it's always been kind of in there. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's run that back a little bit. Was skateboarding a thing that you started in Tennessee, and then you just like kind of took it to the next level in Hawaii?
Let's see. Skateboarding was something I did as a kid in between other sports. I just always skateboarded, and on my off season, I played like 2-3 sports at a time. And that was kind of how I stayed out of trouble. I would go from basketball practice to track to rugby to dive team or whatever, depending on the season. And then I would skate all summer too. And it was just something you could do. You know, you wouldn't need anything but your board, and I'd skate around. I'd go to skate park. And so I got a sponsor pretty young, and I was sponsored skateboard for a while. And then, yeah, to get sponsored by a company here in Hawaii, and then 808 Skate, shout out 808 Skate. And then to be offered actually, you know, a life here and working and skating with them, it was like, yeah, I guess it was the next level of skating for me, and realizing when I got here, it was the thing I always wanted. And I was also faced with a really interesting challenge of it not too long after being fully in it, which was, what do you do when you feel like you're made for more than just one thing? And I felt like skating is awesome. It's a big part of who I am, but so was all these other sports, and so was all these other things. And I didn't want to make my life just skateboarding. And so I decided to do some other things as well as still skateboard for the company and whatnot. But, you know, I was glad I made that kind of shift early, because sometimes you realize you're not, shouldn't pigeonhole yourself even.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people, there's different types of people. Some people find like this one niche and really stick to it. I found like myself, I've always got to I want a piece of this and I want a piece of that and I want to learn about this. I definitely tend more towards like the person that is dabbling in too many things rather than like focused on one.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's okay to have multiple disciplines. It's interesting, and I'm surprised why people follow me online because, you know, I think I have a degree in marketing from University of Tennessee in international business and a minor in Spanish. And so I get marketing is very simple. You go to somebody's motorcycle page to watch motorcycle things. You don't go to watch basketball dunks, right? And so people go to my page. Who knows what you're going to get, dude? You may get surfing and skating. You may get me being emotional about my feelings. You may get me on a hike in Hawaii. You may, you know, I don't know, you know, but people still hop over there. And I see even in the chat, some of you guys, you know, commenting and just joining in. So I see your comments. Thanks you guys for all the support over the years, because sometimes, you know, I don't know. I just post what I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's part of what makes your profile and your image kind of like a breath of fresh air. Is it does come off more authentic and more just kind of real life. It's less about your agenda and more about you just kind of sharing, being expressive.
Which I hope so. It doesn't work as well in some, you know what I mean? By that, it's like it doesn't. If I wanted to just grow my followers and all that, there's other ways, and I realize that. But instead, I chose, and what has worked thus far is just, I want to, no matter what I post, to always build others up. I made that as like my mission statement when I got into social media. And if I quit doing that, I hope that people start telling me, and, you know, if it comes to look at me with no end, I don't mind saying, hey, look at my body. I've trained it this way. You too can try to achieve this. That's different than look at me for look at me's sake. Look at my life. It's so good. Because it doesn't really do anything for anybody. It doesn't really help anyone. It doesn't build anyone up. So figuring that out has not been easy, though. And so I guess I just appreciate, like, you know, people still following, being sweet and kind. My followers are super awesome. They're not on there, like, crapping on me for, like, oh, you can't even do that. Or, like, people now that I'm doing weightlifting, which is kind of new to me, my form is horrible, dude. And, I mean, I'm all full on, like, squatting, like, you know, just knees in, and like, no, I can't put work together right. And people just go, hey, I see you're getting better. And I'm like, that's awesome, internet. Not like, oh, dude, be more safe. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying, man. It's hard to weightlift.
Yeah, it's a hard one, especially like all the CrossFit stuff you've been doing. You have like a really athletic, super athlete background, and then like you add all this like form that's not super intuitive. Like CrossFit, like a lot of things don't naturally make sense, so you kind of have to work through those hiccups. But yeah, I mean, it was really cool when we worked out, seeing, you know, just brute strength. You're able to just like put weight on the bar that a lot of people would never start with.
Yeah, I think that's its good side and its bad side, right? I feel strong and I get all hyped around the boys and I'm like, let's do this. And then I always fail at form. Form is what takes me out first. Flexibility and form. Strength there. And sometimes I get really frustrated that, like, I'm not doing more or whatever. But then I remember, like, I too am on my journey and people see my weight and go, that's strong. So it's like, it's all relative. And again, even with the app I'm coming out with, I hope I've made different levels of ninja training where I have my levels on there, and I doubt anyone's going to want to do it. And then I have, like, maybe you don't have your own, I've never done a pull-up, and I got that on there, but you're still doing the ninja style training of different upper body movements and working your core. And so I hope, again, if I just put out the gnarliest, craziest things, it can be entertaining for sure, but I don't think it necessarily builds people up. It actually creates distance from wanting to achieve something physically, because if I do something super hard, people are like, I would never do, oh, it's crazy what you do. And then they almost don't try because they're like, that's so crazy. So I hope to bridge that gap back, and I'm figuring out how now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, just like back on the technique thing, I've seen your surfing videos, and I'm a surfer, but I'm trash at surfing. So like, I've gone through this like 3-4 year process of like trying to become less trash. And it's a really hard technical form based thing. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of form in surfing, but I've seen you do that. And I know that you grew up in Knoxville, so you had to have developed that good form and technique in your 20s or so. So I know that you have that ability to kind of work through those issues, and it'll be cool to see.
Yeah, I got a couple hidden things. I mean, I forget all the time, like some of the stuff that I can do or know how to do that I worked on that people don't know. And then the other day, my friend came to visit, and they only speak Spanish, so I'm just speaking Spanish all the time. And everywhere I went, people were like, "You speak Spanish?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude, I'm fluent in Spanish." Surprise. But those things has been, I guess, in the little attempts of things, I don't register them as like I'm great at it. Shout out Bickle. What's up?
What up, Bickle?
But I you have your talents and skills, and they build up, and so I don't know. I just hope to bridge the gap from my ability to other people now is the kind of the hopes and what I'm doing in social media now.
Yeah. So one thing I'm curious about is, how did the Ninja Warrior thing start? Like, you didn't just say, boom, I'm on the show. There had to be like a process leading up to that, right?
Yeah, I watched the show as a kid. I don't know if many people watch G4, the network. It's not a thing anymore, but it was the Ninja Warrior show is originally called Sasuke, and it's in Japan. And then American Ninja Warrior came from that, and I watched it as a kid. And I just thought to myself one day, because I saw two Americans, I think they're the Han brothers, they were gymnasts, and I saw them run the course, and I was like, well, Americans can do this? What? And I thought, I'm going to do that one day. And I just kind of put that in my brain. And I have a lot of things I've just kind of put in my brain since I was a kid. And, this stuff like swimming under ice, which I did this last couple of years and up in Alaska, and these different things that are weird. I want to do the running of the bulls in Spain. We went and did that. And those all kind of resurfaced as like, okay, I'm going to go do these now. Because right before Ninja Warrior, I actually had multiple people in my family pass away. My mom, a couple months later, my grandmother, my dad's mom, my stepdad, and my great-grandmother in all a very short period of time, about a year. And that was something that made me obviously very sad, very hurt. And the way I dealt with it, in a lot of ways, sometimes having goals and having a purpose and getting up and training or doing something, or even just having a reason in life to do anything, helps you not focus on how upset and sad you are. And so I started hitting this list of stuff I always said I was going to do. And the running the bulls was first, so we went to Spain. And Ice Pass was on there. American Ninja Warrior was on there, so I applied. I wanted to be on the Ellen show. We did that. I just thing after thing on the list. And American Ninja Warrior opened up a lot of doors to do some of those. And so I just applied just like anyone would. And then I did really well my first season, and then did better the second season, and was asked to do other shows, the Ninja versus Ninja, and the All-Star show, and the Celebrity Edition, and all these different things. And I was like, oh, dang, I do TV now.
That's amazing. And I actually also, I went to San Fermin, Pamplona, which is where they have the running the bulls. I was still pursuing my college football dreams at that time, and I was on break. So I had to watch my brother run from the sidelines. But that was... I would say
don't do it. To anyone, I just want to go ahead and say, don't do it. It's not smart. It's not cool. It's not what I thought. It's chaos. It's utter chaos. You think, oh, I could be faster, I could be athletic, or I could... No, dude. It's chaos. It's literally, if the bull wants to kill you, it will. But the reality is, you're more likely to die by being trampled or just being tripped by someone. I mean, it is utter chaos out there.
Yeah, it's insane. So first of all, the bulls are running at 30 miles per hour, which is faster than Usain Bolt.
So fast.
So you have no chance because you have like a line of 400 guys in front of you. So even if you're the fastest, it does you no good. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. You're only a speed bump out there.
Right. And what I didn't realize was the party and the festival that surrounds it is just insane.
Right? I couldn't tell who was coming or going. Like we showed up at 3 a.m. because we want to be you have to be in this like rules area. So then you can be let into the actual, there's like 2 barriers, you've seen it. And so like we went to that, we get there and I cannot tell who's coming and going. I couldn't tell who's drunk or sober. People are covered in sangria on their white outfits. I'm like, is this blood? Like what's happening? I've never been here. Here we go, And I thought, this is wild.
All right, hold on. Let's see if it was the off chance that we were there the same year. What year did you go?
Yeah. I have to really, I'm afraid I won't remember the exact date. It would have to be over 7 years ago, 8 years ago. It's around that range.
I think I went in 2018, 2017, 2018. Oh, wait, no. Time out. I went in 2014.
So I would have been in, if it was 7 years ago, I would have been there in 2015 or 2014. Whoa! Check the calendars! I need to look for realsies. I might have been there in 2014.
Dude, that's wild. I remember because I was backpacking Europe. I graduated high school in 2014, and I backpacked Europe with my sister, and that was when I went to Running the Bulls. So
you know what? I can maybe pull it up as we're sitting here talking. I'm gonna scroll back deep into the gram. I don't think I couldn't post. I have full video footage. I had a GoPro, and I don't know if you saw the rules. You're not allowed to have GoPro. You have to, and we start, and I have it tucked in my shirt, like so no one could see it. But as we're going out, and I went past Dead Man's Corner. For everyone who doesn't know, that's the 90-degree turn where the bull is too big to turn tightly, so he swings wide and hits the wall and usually kills people there because a bull's hitting a wall. And if you're between that bull and the wall, RIP, one time. And I started past the wall, but as I was going there, a cop saw me and like grabbed me and actually like threw me out. And I was like, okay, I'm so sorry. And then as they were like letting me out, they didn't, push me out or anything. There's so many people. I just ducked him and went right in the crowd and was just lost. Like there's no way he could find me. And I just got right back in. And that was like seconds before the Bulls came. So, what are you gonna do?
yeah, it's a crazy thing. And I think this whole idea you have of like an imminent end and like kind of making a list, I've heard that you call it your rapture list, and then just like been able to knock these things off. And I think it's so easy, especially we were talking about social media. It's like anybody that sees Grant's social media is gonna be like, yo, this dude has like the perfect life. I want to be him. I want to live in Hawaii and skateboard with my friends, like do cool stuff. But you have had like a pretty bumpy road. Like you have had some low times, and it's something that's really enabled you to also have these really good times, like the dark with the light.
It definitely, I guess, I hope that comes across to people. I do try to put fun and exciting things up, but I mix in, pictures of me graveside at my mom's when I'm just crying my eyes out all day. Just so, even Mother's Day coming up, and the 25th was the anniversary of her passing. And I was just super sad that day. But, after 8 years, it is different. And so instead of being all emotional, I just posted a picture of me in the jungle, acting wild, climbing on something. Or no, I was flipping. I was doing a gainer off a waterfall. It was like 2-3 days ago. And I put it up as like, hey, and if people see it, they'll just see like, some quote from Tarzan saying like, no matter where I go, you'll always be my mom. And he's talking to the monkey. But the reality is no matter where I go, she's going to always be my mom. And she let me be wild. She let me be crazy and goofy. She was an artist. And I feel okay to climb on stuff in public and be silly and goofy because my mom. And so I guess that post now is not necessarily me just being all sad and stuff. It's just letting that reminder of the inside of me. It's like, I'm not as sad as I used to be. It still hurts, but also I can remember my mom in good ways too. And so, people, I don't know if the fullness comes through on social media, but many bumpy roads. And I guess I don't know how that plays in for how you show that to people, or how's that get likes, right? Of just like, hey, I'm having a crappy day today or whatever. And I try to be honest about it, but it is weird on a platform based off of showing the best things in your life.
Yeah, we all have like these kind of like orchestrated you know, art galleries of how cool our lives can be. But I think you do a great job of highlighting, you know, here's the shitty stuff that happened, but here's how you continue to like spread a light and improve yourself upon like those things, because they are going to happen to all of us, like different degrees, different circumstances, but everyone goes through some junk. And I think it's really cool how yours involved like an action plan. So one of the things that I found out, which I didn't know, was that you were like really, really into the Ellen DeGeneres show, and like you thought it was really cool, and you actually put that on your list, and then she hits you up because Hillary Clinton cancels and you go on the Ellen show. Like that sounded wild to me when I heard that.
Yeah. You a little bit more insight on that, which is still wild to me. Like, again, wonderful, beautiful things have happened in my life. And some of them are because of my hard work or attempting or trying, but some of them are beyond anything I could orchestrate. And that's where I realized, you know, that God has just always looked out, and still there's a verse that says, delight in the Lord and he'll give you the desires of your heart. Well, I've had the strangest things work out where this is a great example. I just mentioned Ellen on an interview on Ninja Warrior as like, you know, they're like, why do you like to dance? I was like, you know, Ellen DeGeneres likes to dance and I like her show, blah, blah, blah. And she likes to dance to come out. She gets it. She saw that. She tweeted at me. I think I had like 2 followers on Twitter, and it got retweeted a bajillion times. Next thing I know, they're calling me, hey, why don't you be on the show? Now, what was gnarly, I get a full-on call from their producers like, we want you to come be on this show. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening. I'm so stoked. And I had promised for the last like 6 months I was going to go and visit my brother. And my brother's 14 years younger than me. Very important to me, especially in this time of my life, that he knows that I will always be there for anything he needs, especially during this time of loss where he's lost his mom and his dad. So I'm like, I'm definitely going to be there. I told him I was going to be there. And they're like, the only time we can have you come is this time, where I'm already planning on going to be on this show. And I was like, I can't believe I'm going to say this to you guys. I can't come. And they're like, what? No one's ever said no. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm saying it either. And they're like, all right, well, we'll see you later. Not some like, oh, we're definitely going to figure out a way to have you. They were like, cool story, guy. And I'm like, I can't believe. And I tripped for a week, just like, what? Praying, like, God, why did I say no? Like, my brother would have been fine. He would have been totally cool. Like, I should have just gone and did it, like, whatever. And then, like, the day that I went, I'm over it. It is what it is. Maybe it wasn't right. Maybe I shouldn't have done it, and it's fine. I went to the airport. I'm flying to see my brother, and I was like, I'm going to tell my brother he better be stoked that I made this decision. And I get on the plane, and right before I get on the plane, though, I get a call from them. And they said, hey, Hillary Clinton canceled, and we have an open date. Can you come this date? And it was like right after I left the town. I was like, and it's funny, instead of being like, oh, yeah, totally, I'm in. I was like, well, let me see, because I want my sister to come. And they were like, here's the deal, Grant. You got this chance. If you don't take it, we're not giving you another one. I was like, sounds good. We'll make it work. Thanks. I'll see you soon. And it worked out. My sister took off work, so it worked out for her to be in the audience. And yes, super wild. I thought that thing I always wanted almost was like taken away. And I personally, my view on it is I just believe that God wouldn't present something I've always wanted to snatch it away because I was going to do something that I believed was better in the way of loving on my brother. And that's just how I felt in the moment. And if I was wrong and I didn't get this show, I wanted my brother to know more than anything that I loved him and that I'm there for him. And I always want that to be the same. But it didn't, and I got to go, and it worked out great. And, you know, what are you going to do?
That's an amazing story. And hopefully if your brother's watching this, he can see how much, you know, that he means to you, because that's a special thing. A lot of older brothers just beat up on their younger brothers. That's some serious brotherly love right there. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've been over here scrolling. I hope people don't see me looking away. I've been scrolling back trying to find the Ryan the Bull stuff, and then I found, here's the Ellen show. I mean, we are deep in it, man. We are just so deep in the gram over here trying to find the Ryan the Bulls one. This is 2016.
So we have 2 followers in here. I was waiting for you. I didn't want to interrupt your very touching story because I saw this twice. People are like all scrolling back through. they found it, and we were in Pamplona, Spain at the same time, 2014.
Oh, the people found out for us. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What are the chances of that, bro? I'm still scrolling. I've been sitting here scrolling back, you know, because I got to load. I'm still scrolling back this whole time, and I'm not even far enough back. Shout out to who is it? Who are our peeps, man? Like, shout them out.
Okay, Beyond the Box Interiors. We appreciate you, whoever you are.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Dude, way to go back and find that out, because I'm sitting here trying to scroll back to see. I mean, we got a pretty sweet photo that I did post, I think, of just like, you know, just us standing at the line before we took off. But yeah, that was wild. Unbelievable.
I got one sitting on the gate. I'll send you it after the podcast. It's me. I'm in my all white with like the red scarf on, you know.
Yeah, we're full on white too. I mean, I'm going to post the footage now. I don't know what the statute of limitations is, but I'm going to post the footage, and I'll probably put it up pretty soon. I've been doing more on my YouTube lately, and especially after the Guinness World Record video just went, and it's done pretty well. And so I'm like, hey, we'll keep the YouTube going. I'll probably put up the Running the Bulls video. It's full on. I'm like, GoPro in hand, like, and, you know, the biggest thing for me is that the first bull blitzed by us so fast, I thought we missed our opportunity. We're waiting for the bulls, and then one just train wrecks through right in front of us. And I was like, oh, I guess we should run. And then as we start running, I look back to see if my homie, Kelly, aka Poopy Trousers on Instagram, is behind me, and his hand is on the bull. And I'm like, Kelly's dead. We got to go. Keep running. And then it just, they were so much faster than us. They just blitzed right by us. And I mean, it was like, oh. And then also, I didn't know, once you get into the stadium, they let more bulls loose. We're chilling, we're hugging and high-fiving. The one footage that I've been waiting to put the edit out of my thing is that my buddy had the GoPro in his hand in the stadium. He's cheering, he's high-fiving random people. We all got split up, all right? Now we're trying to find each other in the stadium. It's live, the bulls are running. And the bull just comes in, and he gets trampled, like fully trampled underfoot, but has the GoPro in hand as he falls to the ground. And he's like on the ground. It's like, oh. But the best part is someone fish hooks him, like grabs him like in the mouth as he's going down. And he like didn't want us to see it for the longest time. Best video footage of all time, just fully fish hooked and then trampled. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's wild. I think I feel like if I remember right, you run with like the big bulls, like the mature ones, and then they get everyone basically into a human chicken coop into this stadium, and they let like younger calves with like smaller horns in there, so you feel like you're not as much danger. But that's where people really get messed up, because a young bull will still jack you up.
People are getting like hit in the legs and like fully spinning, and like I remember because I was on the wall, and me and Kels, my homie, are like backs against the railing, but we're kind of watching it like, oh, what's happening? And a bull comes around, gores the dude next to me, gores into his shirt, and is carrying him up and over towards me and Kel. I just throw like, you know, the seatbelt, right? Just throw the arm, hit Kels, and we both go over the top and straight over the wall. The bull rakes the wall underneath us, and as we stand back up, the dude is crying, and it's caught his shirt. He's like, help me. I'm like, dude, first off, if you're going to die, don't die that scared. That's not the way to go. Man up. I don't know what to tell you, bro. You look like a chump. But he's also being gored by a bull, so I get it. And then fortunately, people around are helpful, and they're, you know, scaring, you know, moving the bull around, and then someone helps him get off the horn, and it was gnarly, bro. Like I said, don't recommend it. It's utter chaos. It's just something as a kid I always thought I wanted to do. And then I did it and went, cool, never again. Right on.
That's so rad. I had a funny story. So we left there, we went to Barcelona afterwards, and we went on a bicycle tour, which is like a popular way to see the city. You've got a guide. We got this super rad, like, I don't know, maybe he was 30 years old, really cool dude. And he's like, yeah, I went to the Running the Bulls. He tells us that in the beginning and then just like doesn't talk about it. And we're like, okay, that was weird. And so then like by the end, we've like gone to a couple breweries, and we've like, you know, had a couple IPAs, and he opens up and tells us And he's like, yeah, at the end, I got completely gored. I had my shirt and pants completely ripped, and I didn't have any clothes because I lived in Barcelona. We just caught the train there. So I rode back all the way to Barcelona, basically in no clothes, like in garbs, like imagine completely torn up. And somebody caught a picture of him with the torn up clothes, and he gets back to Barcelona. He goes, he gets a sleep because he's exhausted. He wakes up the next morning. He's on the front page of the paper. It's him in just torn up clothes and blood. And he's just like, what happened?
Bro, I think that year I looked at the count of what happened. One person got gored through the leg and one person got gored through the shoulder and out the back here. I don't think there was any deaths that year, but I did talk to a guy, one of the dudes that got gored, wrote a book called How to Survive Running the Bulls. And I was like, oh no, guy, don't write that book and then get gored.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it just goes to say it's utter chaos. It's complete disregard for there's no, I'm going to be cool and smooth. It's like, let's see what happens.
Yeah, the funny thing is all the locals we talked to were like, yeah, all the gringos coming over here to do this are ridiculous. Like, we would never run in front of bulls. It's a terrible idea. We don't understand what you're doing. And I was like, what? Why are we doing this? I thought
the guy that tripped me out, so I remember I got thrown out by the cops. I come back, and I see my buddies who are on the plan, which is go like 100 meters up from Dead Man's Corner. We'll all be there and take off together. I see them. This is a side story. I jump on because I'm so excited to see them. They think I got thrown out. I hug them both, and I slam their heads together. And I'm like, now they're both like small, kind of concussed. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And it's like ready to pop off. And everyone's like, oh, there's the rockets to tell you, like, it's about to start. Now it started. Now the Bulls roast or whatever. Well, the whole time we're like getting hyped and being like, all right, here it comes. There is just this Spaniard that's just like against the wall, just praying it out, right? And I'm like, guy, it's about to happen. I already talked to Jesus before I got here. You need to stand up. Like, it's about to go down, guy. And then I realized, too, there's people that go and they just stand against the wall. They don't run at all. And they just watch it happen right in front of them. Which another thing I don't think people realize is how when you're in it, there's no way out of it. There's no like, I'm going to climb out. It's like when you're in that one tunnel to the finish, it's straight, tall buildings on both sides, no way out. But if you just sit up against the wall, good chances, I don't know, there's a chance that nothing's going to happen at all. So, yeah, it's wild. Running the Bulls is wild.
It's crazy that it still exists, as the world has gotten safer and more guarded. It's one of those few barbarian things that anybody has access to at this point. So I think maybe it's good for the human species, just a little bit danger in our lives. Sometimes it's like a little too cushy.
It's a little rugged for sure. And so I don't know, hopefully I'll have that edited up. This will make me inspired to have it up by like next week so people can like get a little taste of stupid young me with short hair, like, here we go. Like, I don't know. It definitely is not. I hope me posting that video does not make people want to go do it though, because it is by far the unsafest thing I do. And people look at me and go, you do all kinds of crazy stuff. Well, me flipping off of 60-foot waterfalls isn't crazy to me. I used to dive. I know how to. I don't know how to run away from an animal that is immensely stronger than me. You're just at the whim of it. And so that's why it was the most dangerous thing I think I've ever done.
Absolutely. So speaking of that, you've got the diving and the different backgrounds, and you're also now dabbling kind of in the Spartan realm. I've done some Spartan racing myself. I'm curious, kind of, how did you get into this Spartan racing? Because I've seen your advertisement, like, hey, it's Grant Mccartney. Like, you want to come do a Spartan race on my timeline?
Yeah, they hit me up to do some commercials this year and do some more social media with them and take over the last race. And I like the event of a Spartan. Any range, you can come and run elite if you want to really be fast, or you can come with people who've never done a race ever, never even ran a 5K. And it's broken up by these fun obstacles and nothing too out of control or crazy. And so, I don't think it's crazy. And it's a good way to push yourself. It gives you something to train for. It gives you a fun way to do something with friends, which I'm all about. And so I always like to run too. I'm not like the greatest runner, but I've done some running feats every once in a while. I mean, this year I'm hoping to deadlift 500 pounds and run a sub 5 minute mile all within 5 minutes, right? Like some crazy stuff there. I've only ran one sub 5 minute mile ever. So we're hoping to do that and faster and lift weights, but, and I run a marathon and stuff. So I've done some running. I like it. And I know not everyone does. It's a different way to run. It's more fun. There's some fun activities. You're doing it with a crowd. It's pretty, there's no one that can't do it. If you see some of the crowd, amputees are out there doing it. People are doing it in gas masks and full fatigues and like representing different, military, just crazy. I mean, this one guy done like, he's like 80 some and he'd done like trying to do 100 Spartans. I was like, this is wild. So I like how inviting it is. Again, that's what I'm hoping to do, is branch from like extreme sports to like how can people be involved and not just create separation by how extreme I do things.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great point. What I say to people is, like, if you are intimidated by something like a Spartan race, it's a really good spectator sport. And if you go, like, you're going to run a Spartan, because once you're there and you've like seen the atmosphere and you demystify it a little bit, and then you're like, oh, this just looks like a ton of fun, and people are all hyped and like the community's great. And there's folks of, like you said, all age levels, some of the best competitors in the world, right, laying down crazy times. And then there's people that are, in their 90s and, still out there crushing it and making it work. So I think it's a really cool thing. And you did the Spartan Games, right? Which I'm not super familiar with, but I'm learning about now.
Yeah, you can go on YouTube. People can type in Spartan Games. They just came out with episode 2. Last year was first episode, and it was chaotic. I mean, we could do a whole show talking about stuff you didn't see on the show, where it was just they were making stuff up as you went. It felt pretty aimless, and like they were like, all right, you're going to go run for 6 hours, and who gets the furthest distance wins. And I'm like, what? I've never even ran for 6 hours. They're like, all right, today we're biking for 5 hours. I was like, what? Swim, 45-minute swim. Who gets the longest? I was like, this is freezing cold water, dude. I got an ice headache trying to stay in it. It's like, what are we doing? And so, it's good physical challenge. Again, I don't mind hopping in the world. I don't mind losing. I don't mind whatever. I'm down to try. So, yeah, we gave it a go. You can see how I did on there. Me and Faith Cook, Faith in Pink on Instagram, we bonded pretty well because we both were just like, well, we're here. So, and like a lot of it was just way above our pay grade, but managed to finish like middle of the road, not last, not first. So it got a little better this year. They have a little more structure behind it. You can see the new episodes, and they brought in some new things. Still a lot to work on in the way of trying to figure the fittest people in the world. Like, we're still trying to figure that out. Between CrossFit's doing pretty well. I'd say they're probably the best at figuring some of that. But then how do you do with an endurance athlete who can do 100 milers, and that's pretty fit too. And then bikers, which is a whole nother level of long distance work. And then strength athletes that are doing super strength stuff. And, what is fit, so just another way to compete, I think, too, which is cool.
Yeah, and then the one I saw this year, there's also wrestling was like one of the main events. And I mean, if you've got wrestling buddies, like your 160-pound wrestling buddy will kick the crap out of your 220-pound like random Joe. Like, wrestling is a whole different animal.
Yeah, I mean, even so, I got paired up against Curtis Majid. Shout out to Curtis, he's a legend, NFL player. I'm probably 200 at the time. He's probably 230 at the time. I don't know. Dude is just a meat log, just swole as can be. Now, I'm not a great wrestler by any means, but I don't mind physical contact. Obviously, he doesn't either. And I knew a little bit from whenever we played rugby in college. The boys wanted to wrestle afterwards, the wrestlers, and I'm like, all right, let's figure it out. So we wrestle, and I end up beating him. Now, the way the wrestling is, it's like if you touch the ground, you score points. Some weird rules where if you just know how to keep your body aware, you can win. So I did that, and I won. And then I had to face him again later on, and people gave him tips. it was a different go around too. He just figured out how to use his strength, and he used it. And I was like, cool. So then he won that one. It's like, once you know what to do in wrestling, it's a different game. Strength is not the only thing necessary.
I think I saw his name in the High Rocks pool now too.
Oh yeah.
I'm running High Rocks Worlds, so I've gotten like kind of into that thing. I did one race and I qualified, so I've been like, you know, researching and looking like who does these races, you know, what kind of people. And then I remember seeing his name because he, like, you see him and you can't forget it. You're like, holy shit. Like, he's a monster.
Yeah.
So
nice dude ever too, though. Super nice guy.
It always seems to work out that way. The guys that could crush you, like, are seemingly really good guys.
Except for Hunter McIntyre. He is my homie, and he is actually a super nice guy. But on the exterior, man, he can be a real turd sometimes. And I'm like, Hunt, what's the deal, Bubba's? Why so, you know, why the trash talk and the whole deal? And, you know, it's the way he rolls. But yeah, if you get to know him, he's actually a really sweet guy. It's just, he has a pretty brazen exterior sometimes. That's the one exception, I think, because he's super strong, super fit, beat a lot of people up, I'm sure. And he just also can be a turd.
Yeah, I had I had Hunter on Who the Wild Things Are, like maybe 5 episodes ago, and I was trying to pick his brain about High Rocks because I was about to do my first one, and yeah, there was people coming at him in the chat, and he's like, "I'll crush you," you know, like doing Hunter thing.
Exactly,
he has been the nicest guy ever to me, but he does have this like little competitive thing where he likes to get in people's heads and talk a little smack, you know.
That's it. That's and I, you know, I don't know how to label that, but I rubs a lot of people wrong. I've always just seen through that. I mean, I get competition. I get, you know, if we're in a race and it's whatever. Like if we're still homies afterwards, we're homies. And if you're just a bad person, then that's a whole different story. But yeah, shout out to Hunt.
Yeah, he's good people, and I think he was really a big part of the inspiration for me doing High Rocks in the first place. Just kind of seeing his level of devotion, like, dude really puts in work, like both mentally and physically, like breaks down the sport. He's definitely one of the pioneers, like in this whole fitness racing thing. Like he's outlaid a lot of the plans that people are using to become elite hybrid athletes. And he's done a lot of work for the sport. He did OCR stars. He created his own event. So I have a lot of respect for Hunter.
Super talented, and I don't think people know how physically talented he is too. Like we've done some races. We did Tough Mudder X, the show together, and he, I mean, I put it all out there. I was dead at the end, and he beat my time by 5 minutes on a mile course. I was like, oh. So, you know, he just has a really strong. He's strong physically, and then also has a great engine, and then just can run fast, even though he's, you know, moving heavy or doing whatever. So shout out Hunt.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely had, it's I don't know, whatever, the running background maybe. There's just some of these people like him and Kent that are just so fast but they're so big. I don't understand how you can be running 5-minute miles and be that big. I'll never understand.
I'm figuring it out too.
Well, yeah, me and you need to get to running together, and then we can learn.
I need to run.
But yeah, so tell me a little bit about kind of what's next for Grant. One thing I saw that I thought was super interesting was you just came out with a children's book.
Oh yeah, actually, I think it's sitting right here. Hold on.
Heck yeah, let's check her out.
Let me see. Oh yeah, here it is. This is the first draft, man. No one's even seen this.
Exclusive look.
This is it. Also, I'm gonna just play a little song real quick.
Okay.
No, just kidding. Yeah, man, here's the front cover. Now, again, this is the first officially draft. It's going to be a lot bigger, and we got a lot to do. But it's Everyone Knows Flamingos Like to Party. And here's some of the illustrations. I can't show you too much, you know, but here's some of the stuff going on. My buddy Hunter Hughes illustrated it because he knows all of the things. One of the fun things is these characters that are in here are actual real people that people will never know and probably never catch that, but they have all these little tiny features that are real people, and I know that, and it's awesome. That's why I had him illustrate it. But I was reading to my nieces and nephews one night, and there was this book that was pushing a really heavy agenda, and I thought it was too much for kids too soon and different things, but it wasn't even doing it lightly. It was doing it very aggressively, and I just thought, ooh. And I thought to myself, I can do that, and I can put a topic. You know, I don't think I'm pushing an agenda, but I can put a topic into my story, and I like to write slam poetry, so I made it rhyming, and so it's called Everyone Knows Flamingos Like to Party, and the flamingo is Patty, and she's one of the main characters, as well as Bradley the bear. Bradley the bear is looking to throw a party. He doesn't know how, and so he keeps seeing his friends, and they go, one of them, Tristan the Turtle's like, you got to pick a time. And Fiona the Fox says, you got to pick a venue. Henry the Hippo's like, you got to get the right food. And he's learning, and he's, you know, getting all these pieces of the puzzle until finally he's like, I'm going to throw the best party ever, and realizes he didn't invite anybody. And he's like, oh no, I forgot to invite everyone. And every page ends with someone saying, I learned that because of this flamingo or this event, because everyone knows flamingos like to party. So it repeats every time, and you kind of get the hang of that. So you're reading to kids, it's very fun to repeat, and they can repeat it with you. And everyone learned from flamingos. And so Patty the flamingo comes by and tells them, oh, don't be upset. What's wrong? He's like, I forgot to invite everybody. She's like, don't worry. I got tons of friends that can help out. All the flamingos go out, send out all the invites, and it's like everyone's there now because everyone knows flamingos like to party. Now, the final page, you're seeing this, right? You're seeing all the flamingos. There's another page too, and you're seeing everyone at the party. Well, the inside scoop, and I don't know how to let people know this, is my grandmother is the flamingo. My grandmother was the reason why we did anything major as a family. She would come up on some money from something or whatever and immediately buy tickets for everyone to go on a cruise or go skiing somewhere. And she'd always have us come over every other weekend. She'd invite us. She'd constantly invite us. I realized you have to invite people to have them come. Someone has to do that work of inviting, or they'll never know, or they'll never get to come, right? You can plan all this great stuff out, but people, if they're not invited, can't come. And so I did this loosely based around that. And then another step is the idea of the gospel of Christianity is if you don't tell people about Christ dying for their sins, then they don't have an opportunity to know about heaven or hell or what invited to this party, right? And so it can go even further if you want to take it there. But I think it's just super fun because stuff, just all of it rhyming too is really fun to me. Like when flamingos dress up, all the makeup and stuff, I can tell you one thing, they'll be more dolled up than Barbie, because when it comes to fun gigs, those birds do it big, because everyone knows
flamingos like to party.
And so each page has its little thing, and I'm pretty excited about it, man. I never made this to be like, I'm going to sell a ton and blah, blah, blah. But now that it's done and I'm really excited, I'm going to do my best to put it out and to, hopefully people find it and purchase it. And that was just not the goal. I wanted to create something to read to my nieces and nephews. And now I'm like, I guess we'll do this up and sell it. And I'm excited.
Hell yeah. Well, I want to get a copy. I've got 3 nieces and nephews, so I definitely want to get a copy whenever I can. What's the easiest way for me to buy one?
Well, right now, this is the one, right? So what I'm going to do with this is we went through and made the little adjustments in the sizings, and it's going to be 10 by 10, so this is a little bit smaller. I'm going to print one out actually in 10 by 10 and give it its final gloss over, stuff like, does it need a title page? Do I put an author page and put my mugshot in there? Like, I don't know. And as I'm doing all that and figuring that out right now, I'm hoping by the end of May, it'll be on Amazon, and we'll have copies printed that I can bring in person to places, as I'm figuring that the best way to do that. Because it gets real expensive too to, pay somebody to illustrate it, my homie, and then to buy copies, do all this, it becomes a thing. And so I am down to put the book out though, so we're gonna hopefully have it on Amazon. It'll be really easy to get, and yeah, so hopefully by the end of May, that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, we had a good, I was kind of just thinking about this too. I definitely think you should do about the author page, but you could do kind of an about the author page and then maybe a paragraph about you and how everyone is incorporated into this. And you could specifically list your grandmother as an example and kind of dedicate the book to her. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's little tiny stuff that, again, people may never be able to find and see, especially because these people are like, some of them are just my homies here in Hawaii. One of the other cool little things that I think people would probably like to know, and people that follow me online, is they know that like I have a little thing with ladybugs with as like a reminder of my mom as her uniqueness, and I've had a lot of random weird experiences where ladybugs have showed up at like these times, and it's a good reminder of my mom. Well, throughout this, there is little ladybugs like just kind of in the shots, just mixed in. And it just is a fun reminder, like, you know, my mom's involved, and you know, it's a little stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I just don't want to take up a ton of room explaining everything. I want to be really concise, but I think I agree. I think people in the comments were saying that too. Like, definitely do an author's page, and definitely. So I'm literally working on it today, and I'll figure that out and put it in there.
Very cool. You were talking about earlier, you had to cut your hair because you're working as a flight attendant, which I actually didn't know. So first of all, flight attendant, I always thought about how cool that would be because you can travel the world. But
yeah,
my question would be, does Grant McCartney have any like cool little snazzy saying he says over the microphone, like one of the really cool flight attendants?
Yeah. You know, Hawaiian Airlines may not love me sharing this, but we're not like Southwest Airlines where it's like, just say whatever and make it really fun. And, you know, but I take my liberties every once in a while. So like, not on safety stuff. You can't mess around there. I'm pretty like, you know, that's the biggest thing is we're safety professionals. And then we also attend to people in all the ways, make sure everyone has a good time on the flight. But as I ended, and I forgot about this because I just worked a flight the other day and I haven't worked on it in a while. The pre-recorded announcement machine, it's set to play music after you make your announcement. So let's say you got your little headset and you're like, "Aloha, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying Hawaiian Airlines." And you know, do your whole deal. As soon as you hang it up, it starts playing the music, and that's like the kind of like nice little move. Well, instead of just being like, "Thank you so much for flying Hawaiian Airlines," click. I forgot I did this. I would go, "Yeah, thank you for flying Hawaiian Airlines. DJ, please play that sweet Hawaiian music," and then click, and it would go into the song, and I was like, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I don't know. I would do some stuff like that. I would try to shout people out if it's their birthday, if it's their anniversary. You can tell in Hawaii because we'll have leis, and those are always like a sign that someone's celebrating something. You'd ask them. The community is pretty small here in Hawaii, so like we'll get that, and then I'll get on the mic and I'll be like, "Hey, seat 46G, everybody. They're having their 26th anniversary today. Let's hear it for them." And everyone's like, "Yeah." I was like, I don't know, man. I just hope people enjoy it, and I don't do anything illegal. But yeah, that's kind of like what I like to do. I like to make sure people have a good time and enjoy their flight.
That's what it's all about, man. So,
yeah.
You know, outside of that, anything else next coming up for the Island Ninja that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, man. I'm actually pretty excited. The book's coming, right?
Right.
Next Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday the app drops. So if anyone's looking to do ninja training, Murph training, or some beach workout kind of trainings, it'll be stacked full, and it'll have a nutrition guide and all this different stuff. And it's like, I think it's like $1 for the first month, and then I think at most it's like 15 or something. And you get access to all the people on the app. So that's like a good like stress reliever for me. Is like, if you don't like my stuff, well, there's plenty of others you can follow. And so that comes out Tuesday. And you know, getting the world record was a really big deal to me. If you guys want to see that, it's on my YouTube. Just everything's at Island Ninja on YouTube. So, so I really, after achieving that, I really am taking a setback, think it out. Right, that was kind of one of the last things on my rapture list of like I haven't achieved. So I think I'm gonna mucho, take it easy. And we're going to leave from Hawaii here with my buddies. My birthday's the 13th. So here in a couple of days, we're going to go to Bali and just surf and take some downtime to think, what do I want to achieve next? Do I start in on this deadlift 500 pounds, run sub 5-minute challenge, or do I try something else? And hopefully that comes with like kind of asking and seeing what God shows me too, and just kind of follow that. So yeah, some cool stuff in the soon, and maybe some even greater stuff in the future.
Awesome, man. Well, happy birthday, by the way, or happy early birthday. And yeah, this has been an excellent time. I have one question that I like to ask people kind of as we're wrapping up, and that is, right now, off the top of your head, no pre-recorded answers, who is someone that is inspiring you?
Who is inspiring me right now, or has inspired me in my life?
It could be forever, but currently inspiring you.
Currently inspiring me, man, currently to date, my buddy Hunter is the one who's did my illustrations. The way he lives his life is very inspiring. He kind of does his own path and holds to his own convictions, and I've learned as a man, that's one of the things I think we should protect more and talk about more. When we start not sticking to our own convictions, you have the internal breakdown happening. When someone says, I'm going to start working out more, and you don't, it's not just bad because you're not working out. You've told yourself something and then you didn't do it. And you've now, something in there says, when I say I'm going to do something, I actually don't. And that is very dangerous. I think that's the open door to depression, anxiety, all the things, because when you can't even believe yourself, it's very problematic. And when I see Hunter here in Hawaii, it's just like, it's a good reminder of like, be about your convictions, no matter what the world's doing or saying. And that's good. I think that sometimes the world can get in your head and be like, this is what everyone's doing, or this is what you should be doing too, or this is whatever it may be. Even if that's do less instead of do more, whatever it is. So Hunter, if you're watching this, bud, you inspire me, dude.
No, that's good. I think I needed to hear that too. That's an important thing. It's like when you miss or you decide not to do something, it's that product, and sometimes it's a slippery slope, right? You don't do one thing you said, and then you're like, oh, maybe I'm that type of person, and then it becomes a habit, and you keep missing. So that's a really good point. And yeah, I think Hunter would probably say the same thing about you if I had to guess, in terms of sticking with your conviction. You definitely followed through over your life.
I'm hoping that I'm a very much get back on the horse person. I've made mistakes. I've done the wrong thing. And I kind of focus on, but here we are now. So what do we do right now? And that helps me with the conviction side of things. Is like, I might've made the wrong choice, but right now I can make a new choice, and I can make a different choice. Get back on it here. And so I do try to focus on that, and I think some of that's even what I'm going and doing now.
Awesome, man. Well, this has been a great time. I super appreciate you coming on here with me. Just real quick, let people know where to find more about you, like in terms of handles and the book and such. For sure.
Also, thanks to everyone on the live here. I know there's about 20 on here right now, and who knows who all is going to watch it after this or whatever, but a lot of people have been commenting out throughout the whole time and helping us find out we were in Running the Bulls at the same time. And so, guys, thank you for being tuned in. And this is a cool way this social media is not all horrible, So shout out to the goodness of it here. And, if you want to find me on anything, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, just put in Island Ninja. It's the same handles all the way across. I guess I should also say I just joined Cameo, too, so if you want me to send video messages as fun things for birthdays and announcements, everything's at Island Ninja. You can find it at Island Ninja. So and then hopefully on Amazon soon you'll see the book, and of course I'll be posting on my page. So just stay tuned on my Instagram, and I'll keep everyone updated there. And then YouTube, I'm gonna aim to try to get the Running the Bulls up soon too. So check that out at Island Ninja.
And look for me in the background, like 14-year-old version.
What if it was? You just walk by the camera at one point, I'd be like,
oh man. Well, dude, I appreciate you. And like you said, I appreciate each and every one of you for joining in. This has been such a great time. You are an absolutely wild human being, Grant. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time on Who the Wild Things Are.
Later, you guys.
Bye, guys. Stay wild.